His name is Shirase. He wanted to become an explorer. He was powerful enough to have street fights with 150 kids and fight wolves. This is from his autobiography, so how much of this is true is unknown. When he was 8 years old, he met a teacher named Sasaki at school. Sasaki taught him many things, including the expeditions of Columbus and Magellan. The most fascinating of all was John Franklin's expedition to the North Pole. Shirase asked Sasaki how he could become an explorer. Sasaki told him to follow these rules for the first step. Never drink alcohol, no smoking, don't drink tea, don't drink hot water, don't expose yourself to fire even if it's cold. He gradually began to follow these teachings. To become an explorer, he thought it would be better to become a soldier first, so he enrolled in an army school. After spending 10 years as a soldier, he took the first step toward becoming an explorer. He joined a research expedition to the Kuril Islands. The expedition was too harsh. 19 people were lost and died before reaching the Kuril Islands. The wintering party was left on several islands, but they were all died. When they reached the northernmost island, the captain ordered Shirase to winter there. Shirase and 5 of his men remained on the island and conducted wintering research. The wintering proved disastrous. 3 of them died of disease and the remaining 3, including Shirase, became very weak. Eventually, they were so desperate that they had to kill and eat their own dogs. Shirase was rescued the following year, but he resented the captain for leaving him on the harsh island. But his wintering experience has made him a tougher guy. After that, he worked to continue his exploration of the north. Since he could not get support from the government, he sometimes took a smuggling boat to explore. He also served in the Russo-Japanese War that broke out in 1904 and rose through the ranks. One day, Shirase heard that an American, Peary, had reached the North Pole. Now the only place left unexplored was Antarctica. But the British and other nations were sending expedition teams to Antarctica as part of their national projects. Shirase became impatient and wanted to go to Antarctica as soon as possible. Fortunately, Shirase had a good network of people. With the help of some of the biggest names in the business world, a support group was formed and funds were raised. He acquired an old ship and converted it. The ship was not powerful enough, but it was the best they could do. Shirase became the captain and left Japan in 1910 with 27 sailors. But the ship was awfully slow. The engine had only 18 horsepower. By the time they reached New Zealand, the sea had begun to freeze. They decided to call at Sydney and wait for the next season. 2 members of the team took advantage of this period to return home temporarily. This was to get money and supplies. When they returned to Japan, they found that the fight had broken out in the support group. It seemed that someone had used money to drink. Meanwhile, Shirase and the others were living in tents on the beach, instead of staying in hotels because they had no money. That's why the locals were suspicious of them. Anyway, they managed to get supplies and money and left for Antarctica again in October. On January 16, 1912, they became the first Japanese to land in Antarctica. At the same time, he met a Norwegian team. Amundsen had reached the South Pole 1 step earlier. Shirase and his team also set out for the South Pole. After 8 days, however, they reached their physical and material limits and decided to turn back. In the end, they didn't achieve any major results, but they were able to bring back scientific data and records, so it can be said that not everything was a failure. However, problems were piling up. There were still fights going on in the ship. The support group was in a mess, and someone had spent all the money. All that was left of Shirase was debt and broken relationships. To pay the crew's salaries, he sold everything he could. He also lectured about his expeditions to pay off his debts. For 20 years, he ran around trying to pay off his debts. Then in 1946, he died in an old apartment room, unnoticed. He was 85 years old. He may have been an energetic explorer, but he was not a good manager or leader. Teamwork and leadership are important to get things done. Even today, the name Shirase remains as the name of a place and a ship. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll be very happy if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.